Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Warden and the Paunch, where we have a little bit of a dwarf problem. So here's what I think we're going to do. Obviously, in the long term, and by in the long term I mean like next turn, we could try out a call to war here, call in some extra boys, and try to overwhelm them with superior numbers, as well as superior intellect. But for this turn, here's what I think our plan's going to be.
Don't think so.
By selecting this army, we can see the edges of its normal movement range. I'm gonna step just inside their movement range and go into ambush mode. My hope here is that they will not see our army. They will think, hey, maybe it's safe to run over to Carrick-Cadron, and we'll be able to catch them in an ambush in the mountain pass. But by staying this close to the edge of their movement range, we can be reasonably assured that the thing I tried to do with the Ostermark army will actually work here. If they see through our ambush and they bring both of their armies against us, we can just retreat and be outside of their movement range, so they can't chase us. Alright, what else do we need to do this turn? Carrick-Raziek needs to finish upgrades. Okay. In the third slot, here in this minor settlement, I think we want to build a Garrison Buildings. You can see the Tier 2 version of this gives 6 extra units to the city garrison, and the Tier 3 version gives even better units and also puts walls up around the settlement. You don't always need to build a wall building in each of your minor settlements, but on any minor settlement that's near the front, near another hostile force, it's probably a good idea. I think, like, if we took over Kazirkalas, we probably wouldn't need to build walls there, since it's right up against the edge of the map and it's deep in the mountains away from everybody else. But Carrick-Raziek definitely needs the extra defense. And then I'm very excited to see the new trolls. Let's get this, and we can finish upgrading the totem pole as well. Yeah, let's do that. So we've really gone through basically all of that money from before. And we should probably spend our scrap before we end the turn, because Ozhag's army might end up in a battle. What are the upgrades that we've unlocked for the rock lobbers? Okay, they're expensive is what they are. 25% reload time reduction is actually very significant. That's a really, really good upgrade. And plus 20% range, minus 5% movement speed is also a very, very good upgrade. These are both phenomenal. I wish we could afford either of them. That said, do we want to save up for them, or do we want to commit smaller upgrades? You know what? I think we should save up. I think combat skin sacks is awesome, and winged ammo is only very slightly worse. Let's hold on to our scrap for the moment. So, fingers crossed that the dwarves are stupid enough to fall for my very clever ambush. My brutally cunning ambush. Every plan is either brutally cunning or cunningly brutal. And only the wisest of orcs can tell the difference. Okay, our ambush failed. I don't think we need to engage this way. We're going to fall back. Oh, interesting. He split his armies up. Well, I think that probably means we could just take Ungermeyer. Why would he do that? Because that army's only like 13 units, right? We have a massive advantage against them. I think the AI... Oh, wow. That's embarrassing. That was a full army of Bloody Eye troops that ran down to take advantage of the fact that Nashrak's lair is very poorly defended, and somehow they lost the army, or they lost the battle against the tiny army of defenders. I wonder if that Red Eye Clan army was mostly goblins, because their economic potential has to be pretty poor, with them only having one minor settlement. Alright, under Morslib's glare. Your warriors range deep into hostile lands, but all is not well. There are dark omens abroad, as if the shadow of some horned god was watching from the evil moon above. The army is fettered by Morslib's glare. Morslib is one of the moons. It's the spooky one, I think? I'm pretty sure that the Warhammer Fantasy World has a normal moon and then a spooky moon. So we can make an offering to the gods, a very significant offering to the gods, to get ourselves some war fervor, which is, honestly, maybe not a bad idea, what with us being... Probably we're going to spend a significant portion of the next 5 turns fighting dwarves. Or we could do nothing and just risk Morslib's wrath. You know, I'm not trying to be superstitious about this, but I kind of think we do want the war fervor bonus. Our troops are difficult to control, and they tend to give up early in battle. Let's just go ahead and pay for this. Any financial problems we have, we'll just solve with dwarven gold. Alright, well I guess let's just go ahead and execute this move here. We're pretty close, I think, to the place that we are going. And then down here, before we go getting ourselves into any actual combat trouble, let's call the wog. How exactly does this work? We have to select a target, and then we dedicate the wog to either Mork, which gives plus 10% missile strength, or Gork, which gives plus 10% weapon strength. Who is running a greenskin force that's using enough missiles to make the Mork dedication make any sense here? And you can see there are different, we can see the strength rank of the different forces. So if we go after these guys, we'll get a construction cost and weapon strength reduction. The stronger the faction's rank, the higher the values of the trophy's effects. Okay, so it's construction cost reduction and weapon strength up because we're pointed at dwarves, right? If we went at these guys, would we get a trophy at all? It doesn't actually... Oh, maybe we can only see the trophy preview. Ah, okay, here we go. Kill the boys. So here it would give leadership and recruitment cost reduction. What if we went after some humans? Charge bonus and obedience. Okay, that's interesting. How about vampires? Winds of magic starting amount, movement speed, and income from post-battle loot. Well, I think the dwarf one is, first of all, the one we want. I think that's a weapon strength bonus is better, and then also, obviously, we're going to take out Carrot Cadron here. So we dedicate this wog to Mork or Gork. Listen, I'm not supposed to say this, but they're basically the same guy. And then we're gonna... What exactly has this done for us? It's given us... The mobs are flocking to this army. The type of units that can join it depend on its location or your faction leader. So we have a special extra wog tab. We've gotten some extra orc boys and some goblins and stuff. And the wog following this army will grow in strength as the timer ticks down, and also as we do stuff with the army, I believe. Stuff like this. Okay, I don't think there's any special preparations to make. Let's just kill a bunch of slayers. So, Ungrim Ironfist is the Slayer King. That's why his army is largely composed of slayers. He has some bonuses to their stats and stuff. Things we got to be aware of with Slayers. They are fast for a dwarf, 44 speed. Most dwarf units are really, really slow moving. These guys move at like a normal-ish speed. They have very high melee attack for a random melee unit, 49 attack, 48 damage. Compare that to like our basic guys who have 30 attack with 41 damage. I don't know exactly how the math works, but if your unit with X melee attack is attacking an enemy unit that has melee defense lower than your attack, it means you're going to hit them a lot. So the fact that our dudes have 25 defense while they have 49 attack means that they're going to get that 48 weapon damage off against us a lot. They also have this whirling axes trait that gives them shielded. They use their little hand axes to block arrows, so our Orc Arrow Boys are not going to be super useful here, at least not while we're shooting the enemies in the front. They're good units, and then they have also some dudes with rifles. Pretty heavily armored for ranged troops, and they're dwarves, so good fighters, pretty tough. We're going to hit them with catapults, a lot. That's my plan. This is, as far as Dwarven Forces go, this one's pretty scary for our starting unit types, but it's important to remember we have basically double their number of units, right? Thanks to the Wogs. So I'm not expecting that this is going to go terribly poorly. Our Wog reinforcements are going to come in from all the way back here, so we could probably do better than 10 starting winds of magic. Ranald is with you. We won. The number's green, which means we won the gamble, but I guess we gained less than 1 full point of power, so that's a disappointment. Let's start with our catapult, like, in position to hit the enemy, but as far back as it can be, while still being able to fire right away. That's probably fine. So we're just going to bait them forward using our superior ranged prowess. Keep in mind, we are the attackers, so there is a timer up at the top of the screen. The attacker loses the battle if the timer runs out. Probably not a realistic concern, but in theory, if they were to refuse to fight, if they just ran away from us, that would lead to us having to do something about it, or they would eventually win the battle. I don't think it's going to be an issue. The AI doesn't really play very turtily. So what do we want to do with our special units here? We definitely want the Orc boys to be the ones who engage the charging slayers. And we really want the Wog units, probably, to be the ones who engage the charging slayers. I guess we'll just have, like... We'll keep you guys out of the way over here, and you guys out of the way over here, so that they can run around and flank the slayers after battle is joined. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Alright, let's see what they do here. Catapults are winding up. Are they going to fire? There it is. Let's follow these projectiles in. Okay, that was a pretty good shot, actually. I'm pretty pleased with them. And yeah, it looks like they have, in fact, decided to just back up instead of fighting me. Interesting. You don't see the AI do that very much. Well, this will give us time to just organize our reinforcements a little bit. Y'all come up and stand in front of the archers, please. So 2 units of normal boys and then 1 unit of goblin spear infantry. These guys are absolutely horrible, just really, really terribly weak units. And then a unit of normal goblin wolf rider cavalry and a unit of goblin wolf riders with bows. Look at these dudes. Adorable. Oh, who's a good boy? So their stats are bad. Real fast, though. Very, very fast. 22 melee attack, 27 weapon strength with almost none of it armor piercing. Not even a very good charge bonus. I really don't... I don't know what this unit is for, aside from being very cheap. Presumably that's really what it's for. Okay, well, here's my big brilliant plan. I'm going to try to see if I can bait the dwarves into making a mistake. The AI, generally speaking, will respond to you doing damage to it. It doesn't want to necessarily run at you at the beginning of a battle, but if you deal some damage, generally it will charge you to avenge the slight. And I don't know if it's more the case with the dwarf AI, but I wish it was. It would be cool if the battle AI was different by faction, right? You could use the orneriness and the anger of the dwarves against them. So here's my big brilliant plan. We're going to run these wolves over close enough to just do a little bit of damage to the enemy units, and we're going to see if that provokes them forward a little bit. And if that doesn't work, then I guess I'll just creep my rock lobbers forward a few feet. My concern is that we're already set up, and also I'm very lazy. So just keep an eye on the firing arcs of these rifles. Oh, looks like they are, in fact, trying to make sure I can't go around them the way I intend to. Oh no, they turned to face forward again. Weird. Okay, yeah, just run in here, and as soon as we get close enough, we'll start to see some volleying occur. I'm real curious what's going to happen when the first arrows hit those slayers. How are they going to respond? Are they going to let me just pick at them? They can turn their rifles around all they want. These gunpowder units have a problem with line of sight. Okay, looks like a lot of their army has, in fact, just started to run forward. They're trying to avenge the little bit of damage I've done here. And actually, we've drawn a couple units off to pay attention to these to this cavalry unit, which is probably the best we could possibly have hoped for from this cavalry unit. So yeah, the enemies are now properly in catapult range. Let's focus on this group of slayers for right now. As always, you know what, the middle group is fine. As always, I just want to be shooting at the one that's in the middleist part of the enemy formation. Go harass those dudes. And now, Wind Blast does very little damage under normal circumstances. It's mostly about knocking the enemies down and stuff. It will be even weaker against dwarves, because remember, dwarves have natural magic resistance. But I think... Ooh, do not get shot at. I think in situations where units are on their backs, they don't get their shield bonus, because the shield bonus requires them to be facing their attacker. I'm trying to just harass these guys. You know what? I'm going to have you back up a little bit. I don't really want the nasty skulkers to get revealed, and we're starting to... This group of slayers is accidentally getting close enough that they might reveal them in a moment. They're probably just trying to flank. We can stop that noise. And as the enemy draws closer, I think we probably want the Wolf Riders to back off. I want the Wolf Riders to sort of wing out, and then they'll come around and harass the Thunderers later. And probably... Actually, you know what? Instead of having you guys just back off, let's have you run out here, because we want them to harass the Thunderers on this side. And it's looking like it's about time we just go and meet them in the field here. So we're going to have the middle part of our wall of boys just advance forward as a second rank. I'm expecting the Wog Army, in particular the goblins, to break pretty early. And then we're going to have these guys move up into sort of more flanking positions. Although on this side, I guess it's going to be a little complicated by that group of slayers. We'll see how this works. And Ozhag, I'm being silly, he should be in the middle, right? So that his helmet affects as many people as possible. Alright, so now that they've formed up with us, I'm going to blast them with this just to knock a bunch of them over so that they're less effective at fighting for a little while. Give them one of these. You get in there. Actually, you know what? The trolls should back up. Slayers are anti-large. Means they're actually quite effective against the trolls. We do want the trolls to hit them. I just want the slayers to be focused on somebody else. And then over here, that's totally working. This is a little awkward because they did run these slayers like way out of position. We had to keep an eye on the skulkers. We don't want the skulkers going toe-to-toe with the slayers. That's probably going to end pretty poorly. And keep in mind, there will be no leadership-based victories against these slayers. Slayers do not ever waver under any circumstances. We can start work with the catapults on those dudes. We are actually going to have to kill every single one of their melee units, which is a real shame. And then, where's their lord at? Did he... Oh, he's wandered into combat already. Okay, well, I'm going to prod him with the Spirit Leech. It's not going to be very effective, I'm afraid. We probably want to stick with trying to Soul Blight them. They have 0 armor already. I'm not sure if you can drive someone's armor negative to do bonus physical damage to them in this game or not. Let's give it a shot. Cast this, like, right there. Alright, let's hope that, some of that works out the way I want it to. You guys, refuse to break. Those goblins are going to stay in until the bitter end. I have commanded it. Alright, well, we've got the charge in. I'm not necessarily thinking that that's going to work the way I want it to, because, again, dwarves. Right, you guys got to get out of there. Some of the nasty skulkers are going to get hung up, unfortunately. Oh, let's not forget our wog. Hold on, can we navigate this a little bit better? I would love it if you guys would disengage. You guys should go into skirmish mode at this point. Just shoot at people while staying away. And I think the best thing the skulkers could be doing right now is just chasing. Right? We don't need them to win these battles. We just need them to get the archer or the rifles to stop shooting so much. And I'm gonna have the arrow boys try to spread out to the sides so that we're not firing at the front of the enemy formation too much. Again, that shielded bonus only works if they are facing the person who is shooting at them. Alright, once again, let's just try to buy a moment of respite for our troops on this side by knocking over some of those slayers. I think I aimed that a little too far out of a desire to not hit my own guys with it. Okay, that's working on that side. I mean, we're kind of getting them over here a little bit. This is also kind of working. Slayers are tough, man. Slayers are tough under normal circumstances, and they're tougher when they're buffed by their Slayer King. But we're starting to wear them down on some of these fronts. Alright, let's get some flanks going here. Alright, I think we're going to need these guys to focus on the Thunderers, actually. It looks like those Thunderers are totally going to kill our Wolf Cavalry in single melee combat. Because, again, goblins, not actually great fighters. Although, I'll be honest with you, the goblins with the bows are at least getting their job done. Already have our Wog available again. Let's keep blowing up their stats. It looks like this is just about over. Those guys are broken. Let's refocus over here. Yeah, the goblin, or the dwarves with the rifles are really faring the best here. Oh, Ozhag is getting his butt kicked a little bit. You guys, get in there and be a distraction. Ozhag's he's a good killer. He's not so good at taking hits in the face, though. Stop him, don't let him chase. And we'll give him one of these to discourage chasing even more. There we go. Okay. As soon as these guys break, we'll re-break those guys. Looks like the Slayers on this side got killed. We need the Trolls in over here. It's not great to have them fighting Slayers, but we really need the damage output. We're close to having access to some of our better units, and that's going to help a lot. Right now we're suffering a lot from the fact that the Orc boys they're not bad low-level infantry. Other factions certainly have worse stuff, but they're certainly not damage dealers. You lot, basically just get in here. Alright, not you. You guys shoot. We wanna... Here, we can probably throw up one of these real quick and then have him run back into melee. Give me a little bit of freedom against those dudes. Catapults... I'm expecting the catapults really won't be able to do any more meaningful damage at this point. Right, just knock them down and keep them busy for a second. Re-debuff and re-debuff. Alright, Ungrim Iron Fist is a tough dude. It's not trivial to kill him. Alright, so it looks like we have permanently broken the units on their side that can be permanently broken. Unfortunately, we're going to have to kill every single one of the Slayers, including the King. Good news is, the Slayer King is looking pretty weak at this point. The camera nearly got hit by a catapult shot there. Is Ungrim... Yeah, Ungrim Iron Fist is totally hitting Ozhag. Ozhag, just back out of there, man. Let other people take the hits for you. He's having trouble navigating the press of orcs. You guys, run away. Let the Slayers chase you through the arrow fire. Man, yeah, Ozhag took a lot of damage really quickly there. Okay, Ungrim's dead. So is it just... Yes, it is just these Slayers over here. All of the arrow units except these ones. Shoot those guys. These ones run away. Just lead them on a merry chase. There's still 32 dwarves in that unit. Oh, they're fast. They're so fast. Well, it's definitely not in our best interest to stand and fight. We don't really have a way of slowing them, do we? Nope, just keep running. Keep their back to the rest of the ranged attacks. I mean, we could have the catapults try to hit them. This is a pretty good chance that this is going to end with my own dudes getting killed by those catapult those catapult shots, but what are you going to do? And I guess we could have the trolls are pretty fast. The trolls could probably catch up with them. Yeah, my units are panicked and fleeing. The good news is they're dying quickly. It's not that many of them left. Get Ozhag over here. He's not going to engage with them personally, but he is going to nuke their stats. And the trolls are getting the job done. Slayers are specifically good against fighting large units, but there's just not enough of them at this point to be a real danger anymore. Oh my god, Ozhag, get over here. Ooh, wow. Yeah, that guy got trolled real good. The trolls are actually losing. It's worth noting. The trolls are definitely taking more damage than the dwarves are. There's few enough of them that we could just work through it, but that was, that was not ideal. That battle did not go as well as I thought it was going to go. The enemy has, in fact, cost us dearly. The good news is we have Healy mushrooms. Jesus, one of their units had 385 kills. So, that's our first time defeating an enemy legendary lord in combat. Every time, each legendary lord has a special trait that they award to the lord of the army that beats them. I don't know what Ungrim's is off the top of my head, but my point is, this is worth a little bit more than just the enemy units that we killed by doing it. So it's a very small amount of replenishment. Actually, it's not that small for Ozhag himself. I think we'll take Eat Captives here. Plus 5 melee attack, 5% missile and magic resistance for Ozhag personally. Honestly, not too bad. He is the Slayer King Slayer. No doubt he'll be back, bearing the Axe of Dargo and a serious grudge. Well, we'll see. Also, we've suffered high casualties in multiple battles. Boy, ain't that the truth. So everybody's getting a little tougher. We're earning our stripes out here. So, what is next for you? Oh, we have to have the Crown of Sorcery before we can open up the next part of the magic tree. I didn't realize. The Crown of Sorcery is... Okay, it's our first legendary item. It's the one we're already on the path toward. Well then, we have to take something else for a little while. Where else do we want to put our skill points? Leadership bonuses during underground battles. Honestly, not so good. Missile resistance, leadership aura size. You know what? This is probably a good time to take either some blue line or some red line. So, broadly speaking, yellow line skills that are up here near the top of the screen are ones that improve the Lord's personal combat prowess in some way. Red line skills improve the entire army, and blue line skills are more about like map action stuff. So you can see like extra movement range per turn, more income from raiding, more income from looting. There's some pretty valuable stuff in the blue line, like Lightning Strike, which makes it so that reinforcements cannot be used in the battle. It's just your one army against their one army. Or, here, Upkeep Reduction. The vast majority of the money that you will spend over the course of the game is spent on turn-over-turn upkeep on your melee or on your military units, and reducing your upkeep makes it easier to get a second army going earlier. I think we're going to push blue line here. Because I want to have at least one lord who has Lightning Strike. I think Lightning Strike is super valuable. So what are our options? Plus evasion chance, that is a reduction in our chance to get intercepted when doing underway moves. Plus raiding income, plus looting income, or plus sacking income. Well, I think we're probably going to do a lot of raiding over the course of the game. But the amounts of money you make from raiding are pretty small, so a percentage increase to those values seems not amazing. And sacking income can be very, very good. We've already seen. Sometimes you can get, 15,000, 20,000 gold from sacking even without a bonus. I'm going to take Ravager. We'll push up Ravager for a while. And then once again, we kill the Lord in battle, so... Oh, this army won't be appointed a new lord until their next turn, so we should probably just kill them now so that doesn't happen. Somehow he killed 15 of us before he went down. That's pretty impressive. Little unit of Thunderers. Eating the Thunderers seems like it won't really accomplish a whole lot, so why don't we just take the slaughter. And then we have a question. Do we try to press this army now? 10 units versus my very, very wounded group of guys, or do we fall back to friendly territory? You can see the dotted line here shows the edge of our march mode movement range. Do we fall back and take our very good replenishment rate for a couple of turns and then press in? I think I'd rather do that. Well, it's so hard to know because we can't see what the health level of their troops is. We can see these guys. We know that their bolt thrower unit is at full health. But most of their units are a mystery to us. We have no idea how much damage the army from Khazad-Urkulaz did when it attacked. My guess is that I benefit more from taking a turn off here than they do.
I will not disgrace my ancestors.
There's only 5 units. We're really weakened, though. Yeah, I'm going to fall back, especially since the Wog's going to keep building, right? And look at how much health we replenish every turn back here. Yeah, the Wog's going to keep building. We're going to end up with more units. This is probably fine. Alright. Let's hit end turn, and hopefully Karak Kadrin will not have the money to rebuild their army very quickly. They just have one minor settlement, but when you play on the higher difficulties, the AI factions do receive some amount of just like free flat gold per turn to help them be more of a challenge against the incredible towering intellect of a player. It might be a problem. I'm absolutely not interested in a non-aggression pact. I intend to do aggression. Alright, so we finished our looting tech. Ooh, storm clouds gather in the north. There are rumors that the barbarous tribes residing in the... Damn it, here we go. Residing in the shadow of chaos have ceased striving against each other for the attention of the dark gods, and are instead banding together. Suckling at the teat of chaos, the hordes grow in strength. It seems only a matter of time before the dam breaks and a tide of ruin bursts forth to engulf the old world, corrupting or destroying all in its path. Marshal your strength, nurture the sinews of war, build your walls high, gather warriors to your banner and temper them in the crucible of battle, so that when the time comes you may yet weather the storm. So, what this means is that the chaos, the tribes that live in the chaos wastes up here are going to start sending armies down into the rest of the world. Those armies will mostly come through this mountain pass or like across the narrow part of the water right here. So at some point, as our territory expands, that kind of stuff is going to become an issue for us. At some point, we're going to own this. Right now, it's an issue for Kislev, and if anything, it represents a positive for us. It means Kislev is going to be far too distracted to mess with me. Alright, let's step over into here. Hey look, we did it. We moved a character to the Goramadni Mountains. Possible location for... Man, it's so hard to put the mouse anywhere that it's not going to generate a huge tooltip. A possible location for this lost piece of crown has been uncovered. An horrible place that stinks of the ruinous powers. That's chaos. Looting the area will be no easy feat, as circling above the ruins are flying creatures, flocks of fellbats, and other much more monstrous things. To be able to fully explore the dead city, Azhag's mob will need to control the skies as well as the land. Have 4 units of missile infantry in Azhag's army. We actually already have that. So I think it might be at the beginning of the next turn. The game's going to check on that and award us the progress. And we can start pulling our gouge guy back toward us here. So, Carrot Cadron's already not generating any money, right? We can stand right here and get like optimum replenishment by doing a raiding camp in our own territory for 1 turn, and then we'll start pushing back out toward them while doing raiding camps in their territory. I'm fairly confident that this'll work out, and we are continuing to pull new units into our WOG. Unfortunately, they're not very good units. A second group of Wolf Rider archers is totally useful, though. And we finished big a loot cart. Let's get to that enormous loot cart. We're going to have so many bonuses to our sacking income. Alright, let's make sure we get this upgraded, because we desperately want those proper defenses around Karak-Raziak for when Ostermark comes to get us. To be perfectly honest, Ostermark may find itself pressed a little bit by the Chaos Forces as well. I have no idea if Kislev is in any kind of position to repel them. They may just stomp right through. The really good news about the Chaos Invasion is that it's really bad news for everybody who is near us and dislikes us. Curious to see how this is actually going to work out. It's also, I feel like that happened a lot earlier than it usually does. Okay, it's true. Raiding in Carrick Cadron. Alright, so we did get credit for this thing. So now we're on the last step of it. We can totally win our crown of sorcery here. With plenty of shooters in his mob, all that's left for Azhag is to launch his raid on the Tomb City. His mobs must cull the flying undead and chaos denizens, then hunt through the tombs and monsters' lairs within the catacombs below. The Chaos Wastes are a weird and dangerous place, but the faint whispering voice of ancient evil within Azhag's head grows ever louder. The crown yearns to be whole once again. And it's very important for us to get this. So, the final step of every legendary item quest is a quest battle. We can get a preview here. It's going to be a bunch of spooky chaos monsters and vampire dogs and stuff. Definitely an interesting force. We don't know exactly what we're up against. We know that there will be more than what we're seeing here. To be perfectly honest, our army is probably not up to the task right now, We are developing the technology for better troops, and in fact, some of that technology is finished already. So after we deal with Carrick Cadron, we'll try to put together... We'll come back to Carrick Raziak and Ungor. We'll try to figure things out. We will get on this. There is a quest marker somewhere in the world that we could move our army to engage in the battle, or we could just hit the teleport button with our army in the neutral stance. This will cost us a little bit of gold, but it'll save us so much running time. There's no way I want to actually move an army over there. And what does the Crown of Sorcery actually do? It enables that advanced lure of death magic that we saw on the skill tree. Lowers our miscast chance, makes us immune to vampiric attrition, which we've already seen a little bit of. Reduces the obedience penalty from having the wrong kinds of corruption, and gives us a free spell. 3 charges of a free spell. That's pretty cool. Ozheg's going to have a lot of free spells by the time his equipment is complete. Alright, like I said, I do believe it is time for us to get back to aggression here. So, Skulf Burloxen hasn't done any recruiting at all. He's just sitting there in March mode.
I don't think so.
No, that's not true. He's definitely done some recruiting. Why is he in March mode right now, then?
No, I will not.
That's very
share
curious.
my plan.
Well, we only want to move forward far enough. What's the edge of his movement range? Okay, the edge of his movement range is here, but keep in mind we're seeing his March mode movement range. So we can probably move to, like, here-ish and still be able to retreat from him in case there's a hidden second army somewhere or something that we have to be afraid of. And then here we just raid, and we may as well buy our combat skin sacks upgrade for you. Gouger continues to run back home. You can see the Kislevites are preparing. Stirrings of chaos are a real problem for them, a thing they have to take pretty seriously. So we're at -60 -1 obedience here, and -36 +1 in Carrick Cadron. Our obedience is under control. I think part of it is this. The fact that the WOG is on is making people happy. And next turn, we're in position to just attack Nashrak's lair. Our WOG has swelled to 10 units. We're not getting exactly what I would like, but my guess is that the amount of, or the type of troops coming into the WOG has something to do with our tech level. So probably we're only seeing really basic troops because we still only have really basic unit tech. Alright, Skalf Burluxen has gone into mustering mode. If we don't attack next turn, he's going to have a whole bunch of extra bodies. And the Kislevites are actually falling back. Interesting. It's not necessarily great for us. And Ozhag has hit level 10, so as your legendary lord levels up, it unlocks Regiments of Renown, which are special versions of your base units. So if we have a look here at the Regiments of Renown panel, if we were in friendly territory, we'd be able to recruit these Moon Howlers. What is their deal? How are they better than normal Wolf Riders? Well, I mean, we can do a direct stat comparison, actually, right? Because we have... Oh no, our unit of Wolf Riders died. Our WOG has continued to grow in size and now contains a Goblin Wolf Chariot and some extra boys, which is helpful. But we don't actually have a thing to compare these directly to. Well, these ones cause fear. I'm pretty sure that's not true of normal Wolf Riders. And then they probably just have better stats. I'm sure it's mostly numbers that are different. All right, well, let's actually spend our 10th skill point here. We'll just continue working on Ravager. And I do believe it is time to conquer Nashrak's lair. So the type of units that will join depend on its location or your faction leader. I'm wondering about the 76%. Is that telling us that, like, the overall health of the WOG is at 76%, or... I don't know. It's not the number of units, right? Because 13 is certainly not 76% of 20. I don't know what it is. What I do know is it's time to do this thing. Let us go forth and claim Nashrak's lair. So what do they have? They have some bolt throwers, which are ballistas. You know, they're siege units, they're long range, but they're not super great against us. They're really good against, like, dragons and things of that ilk, and also walls. And then they have some longbeards, which are just, like, very, very good dwarf warriors. They have some miners, which are pretty bad dwarf warriors. Some dwarf warriors, which are normal dwarf warriors. And then, yeah, this is going to be pretty straightforward. Let's do it manually so that we can try to minimize casualties, because we have places to go and things to kill. And it is relatively important to me that we we use the WOG units before we use Azhag's units. Although it does seem like the WOG units don't heal very well, so maybe I'm thinking about that wrong. Maybe we should try to use Azhag's units first, because they have such good replenishment available to them. I'm fine with 17 Winds of Magic, so we don't have quite the advantage that we had in the last battle in terms of range, but look at how uneven the ground is. Their catapult units are going to have some, or their ballista unit is going to have some problems with this that our catapults do not have. Let's pull the Skulkers out over here. Part of this is I just want to make sure that somebody can see their units, so that our units over here on the far side of the hill will be able to shoot at them properly. And we're gonna play this one back. I think again we have the range advantage, and we should use it. Now we probably could like split these guys up a little bit more. Azhag kind of out in front so that he can cast spells early on, trolls in safety positions so that they can rush people later. And I think this is going to go pretty well for us. The numerical advantage that we have is pretty huge. So yeah, you can see we can't actually see their entire army. We have limited vision. You have to have line of sight from your units to their units to know where they are. So we're going to have these guys approach. Let me grab all the melee units. The way the reinforcement units come in all piecemeal like this is a little bit of a bummer. Some archers over here. You guys can focus there. I'm going to put the catapult in guard mode so it won't chase, it'll just turn. I'm not 100% sure what they're doing here, like retreating to the corner. This doesn't benefit them at all. Really, they should be trying to do something to prevent me from massing up my reinforcements, which I'm going to be able to trivially do. I guess they did move themselves to a position where they have sight with their siege weapon, but I don't know, man. I don't know about this as a strategy. Can you guys just get the damn siege weapons into the position? Skulkers can get pretty close without actually being in danger. I mean, I guess they did manage to figure out a way to get my siege unit to spend a lot of time rearranging itself rather than firing on them. They don't go quite as far as I told you to go there. Okay, they're approaching. We definitely have the advantage here. Let's aim for those quarrelers. Try to get these guys into a position where they can charge. Same deal with these guys. Can't even tell if our catapults are firing. Yeah, okay, they're loading and stuff. They're totally trying. They're just kind of bad at their jobs. Alright, there go the arrows. I think the time has come to commit the Skulkers. Now, do we want to have Skulkers try to run over and hit the bolt throwers, or do I want? I think I'm going to have this be the job of these guys, and one unit of Skulkers. I guess let's double up on that because it is pretty important we get rid of those guys. Some of this. We'll have Azhag just scatter some bodies, slow down their approach. Again, his magic is of somewhat limited utility in this particular battle. And now that we've got the enemy to commit their forces, and we know they're not going to try any more outranging shenanigans, we're going to go ahead and move the boys in. And I am going to use Azhag's troops first, and have these guys be reinforcements, or these guys be the flanking force. Because I think it takes a long time for the WOG troops to regenerate, based on what we've seen so far. And remember, we got to be real careful with the trolls. We do not want the trolls to be an easy target for the rifles. Massed ranged units do a lot of damage against large things. You get a lot of projectiles into something that is the size of a troll. Work out that siege unit. Once the melee is properly joined, we're going to give out the first Soul Blight. And Azhag's going to hit some unit in the side, because fighting people in a way that is even remotely fair is for suckers. Here's the thing about fighting fair, is it's you could lose that way. See, it just seems like a dumb plan to me. Let's start focusing on those quarrelers. It looks like the catapults are actually doing some good work. I don't think that damage is from our quarrelers. You guys, I guess, just really group up on them, and then you guys wheel around over here to set up the flank. I think I pause a lot relative to a lot of Total War YouTubers based on things people have said to me in the comments, so sorry if that's annoying, but it's also definitely not changing. I do not have enough confidence in my skill to try to play these battles in real time. And Azhag is close enough to hit the helm. We should probably try to move him over a little bit so that we can catch these guys with the debuff as well. Hit that unit of Slayers at the side. There we go, that's what we want. Also, push those guys over. You guys are coming in over here. That looks like that's working. And remember, as our units get more and more involved in melee, we're going to see the log bar charging up faster and faster. Actually, no, come over here and help with this. So Azhag is in melee there with an enemy melee combat hero, so it's not going to be nearly as dangerous as the last enemy character that we fought in melee, but it is still something we have to worry about. We can't just abandon him to single combat, because he is really not good at not taking damage. Just harass those guys a little bit. Skulkers are chasing. Okay, this is going pretty well. It looks like we killed the siege weapon crew already. So let's have the wolf cavalry get out of here. I'm going to have the Skulkers charge this guy, smoke bomb him, and then run away. Alright, we're not actually interested in fighting the Dwarf Lord, we just want to make him not a part of the battle as much as possible. Continue to chase those guys, and all these units over here that were chasing archers have done such good work. Your reward is stabbing dwarves in the spine. Finest words in the English language. Goblin language? Greenskin language. Finest words in the greenskin language. Also, apparently, I am now realizing, we have left some of our wolf... we left our wolf chariots over there. I'm going to turn off Fire at Will, maybe? On the... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have the catapults reposition. I'm going to leave Fire at Will on, and they can just do what they got to do. Yeah, wolf chariot. I totally forgot about the chariots. Get over here, I guess. Maybe you can help? Gonna level with you. Your contributions might not be totally necessary. Let's drop some debuffs off. And then can we do this in a way that's not going to hit very many of our own guys? Yeah, we definitely hit some of our own guys. Oh, they're just goblins. Dying in combat is kind of their whole thing, and they probably understand that. Everybody get back here. Their lord is coming back, and he'll join combat at some point here. Looks like Azhag's actually kicking this dude's ass. Yeah, and terrifying him at the same time. And that's even before we hit this. Alright, you guys, don't hang around. Okay, their lord gave up before he even got to combat range. So all that's left is this one unit of Slayers for them, because, you know, Slayers doing that thing. So let's get in there and debuff them all to hell. Honestly, Soul Blight is awesome. What an extremely good spell for an Orcish army to have access to. And remember, because this is a settlement battle, the remnants of the enemy army will be completely destroyed here. We don't have to worry about chasing these guys off. I believe this is the end of this faction. I'm pretty sure they don't have any other armies or settlements. So, congratulations to the Bone Rattlers on their decisive victory. We might have lost some units of boys. It's fine. We were going to kick some units of boys out of our army at the end of this anyway, because when we get back up to the place where we've been building the tech buildings, we got to make room for our other cool new units, like those goblin pump wagons and stuff. So probably these low health units will not even get time to replenish. We're just going to kick them out. And we will have the option of just sacking the settlement, which we might take. It is, yes, a lot of money. Okay, go ahead and sack it. We have a moment here. I think it's safe to do that. We got a Scepter of Stability, which gives him big magic resistance for 22 seconds of every 60. I guess that's fine. Confident Attacker. Even more sacking income. And then we can't affect the settlement again this turn, but we can obviously take it trivially next turn because it has no garrison or anything anymore. And, oh, Gouger Legbiter is just getting passive XP up. So we probably want to focus him on map actions. I think he's going to do a lot of this. Let's make him a unit killer, or an agent killer. It is very, very valuable to have 1 or 2 heroes in your employ whose whole thing is just running around killing enemy heroes, because enemy heroes can be very annoying. And then, oh, Carrot Kedron has the population to upgrade. Let's definitely take that. And we've actually capped out Karak Raziak already. We can no longer spend money in any useful way over here. So now it's just waiting for population surplus to accumulate so that we can continue to upgrade Karak Ungor. Yeah, we're in a pretty good place here. I'm feeling all right about our situation. Can you guys go into raiding? Yeah. Go into raiding camp mode for a turn, get a little bit of replenishment. They'll probably start a new army on their turn, and they'll put it into replenishment, or they'll put it into mustering mode, but it'll just be one character that they have to fight us with, and will auto-resolve a very easy victory against Nashrek Slayer. The different vampire factions are glomming together. Could be real good news for us if we can get Sylvania to respect us. And if we don't take Nashrek's Lair this turn, we're going to see the Red Eye steal it from us. Okay, spent multiple turns in the raiding stance, so income up and enemy obedience down. That's a useful trait. We've been issued a mission to raise or sack Kislev. That's a little aggressive, I think. Probably that's not going to happen anytime soon. Alright, let's go get us a nice easy victory. We will now take it over. And that has, we found a Potion of Foolhardiness, so big charge bonus for a character. Honestly, I don't know that we want to put this on Azhag. We'll hold that for somebody else. And we have successfully occupied our WOG target. To obtain your trophy, ensure you still occupy it when the WOG ends. Yeah, that seems likely. Carrot Kedron no longer exists. We've become great at fighting dwarves. Everything is coming up Millhouse over here. We still don't have our crown. What is this thing? Gives him a passive ability that increases the leadership of nearby allies by even more. I like that, but I think I actually want to try to grab Lightning Strike quickly before we get back into taking magic, because Lightning Strike is really super, super good. Let's go ahead and get that upgrading. And our WOG is continuing to expand. It's a lot of bad troops, but it's also just a lot of free bodies. So it is to our benefit to take over the Red Eye territory. Let's have a quick chat with these guys. So if we were to get them to accept an offer of confederation, we would take control of all of their stuff. You can see they're not really into it right now. My guess is we'd have to kick their ass a little bit, which we'll do. We will totally do. But I think rather than having Azhag run up there and just stomp them now, I think what we'll do is we'll go back to Karak Raziak. We'll take advantage of some of those advanced tech buildings, get some new troops in here, and then we'll come at them with our fancier troops, plus our full... I mean, does the WOG army hang around for the entire 16 turns, even though we have our target? That's going to give us plenty of time to use it against these dudes. I wonder if we'll get the WOG army in the quest battle. Because if we do, then we definitely want to take the quest battle before the WOG ends. That's, like, very important. Oh, we should also talk to the vampires. We gave them a bunch of money. Let's see if that's... They're still trending upward pretty hard. They love all the military actions we've been taking against Carrick Cadron. Ooh, defensive alliance looks possible.
I refuse.
What if I offer a defensive alliance plus, let's say, I'm going to go big here. Let's say 3,000-ish gold. How does that sound? Okay. We'll give this a little bit of time. Their opinion of us is still trending northward. I am confident, though, that we will be able to get that. So it is worth noting that there is a path south from Nashrak's lair. It leads down into this other mountain area down here. There's a gold mine at Mount Gunbad. There's a strategic location at Grom Peak. That means there's some kind of unique building that we could build if we took this over. There's another dwarf nation down here that doesn't care for us very much. And then even further south, like all the way down here, this is the main dwarven capital of Karazakarak. And just a little bit south of that is the main Orcish faction. So I'm curious what's going on down here. We may send an agent down in that direction sometime soon, just so that we can get eyes on. And it would probably be good to meet the other orcs in the area. We can maybe get some diplomatic relations started. You know, us orcs, we're very diplomatic people. So it's probably going to be one turn of walking back toward the mountains, and then another turn of using the underway to skip under those mountains to get back into recruitment space. So we have a couple of turns during which we probably will not spill any blood coming up here. Islev has managed to negotiate peace with one of the Norskin tribes, which probably means that they killed the Norskin tribe's army somehow. The Wog army is now 19 units. And you know what? They're healing just as fast as our guys are. Here, let's move it up this way. I think we should be able to take an underway move from here to Carrick Raziak. Probably, maybe. I guess we'll find out. And let's have Gouger Legbiter run over here, and we're going to start harassing. So we are 7 turns away from having the population to upgrade Carrick Ungor. What do we have the option of making here? A couple of different types of snotling pump wagons. We can recruit more catapults now, which is a good thing. And then we have access to a troll hero and a couple of different kinds of trolls. Give me that. Let's get that troll hero out here now. How about Drumpla Bilespewer? It's a big bully. Recruitment cost down and recruitment rank up for the big dangerous kinds of orcs. Yeah, I kind of want to just fold a combat hero into this army, so I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll recruit you now, and then we'll run her over to Azhag after he moves next turn. Actually, this is pretty thick. We might not be able to make that in a single move. Well, we'll see. And we have a lot of time left with our Wog army. This new version of the Wog mechanic seems really powerful. It's a lot better than the old version, which the old version of the Wog mechanic would provide you with an additional stack if you managed your army's fightiness well enough, but that additional stack was not under your direct control. It was like a separate player faction, and it was really, really hard to coordinate with them, which is thematically appropriate. It's hard to coordinate greenskins, but also it just felt so bad in play. They say you revel in victory. They say you spend more time erecting monuments to battles past than managing the realm. They say you are a fool. And they're right, and I'm going to punch them for it. We'll see who is the fool. Or we could try to... No. We don't humble. We war fervor. Let's have a look at this stack right here. Okay, he has a couple of units of trolls. So what's the story with a stone troll? Compared to normal trolls, stone trolls are just better. So you can see the normal trolls have 30 less armor, 2 less melee attack. Okay, stone trolls are a straight upgrade. They also have 25% physical resistance. They have a big missile resist, which is pretty important on a large unit like this. They cause fear. They have regeneration, of course. Interesting. So wait, do normal trolls... Yeah, normal trolls also have the armor-piercing tag. We might be able to just attack these guys right now. We might want to do that thing. Rather than trying to run back. I'm just thinking we have the numbers. We have them right now. This army isn't full size, and it's almost entirely goblins. And trolls, while they are big and scary, they also only have 47 leadership. So we could probably just scare them to death. That's going to mean we don't get our river troll in position quite as early as we would like. But I think this is a good idea. Let's take advantage of our massive numerical superiority here real quick. So I'm going to declare war on you and prepare to get crushed. Alright, this should be pretty straightforward. In fact, they'll give us an auto-resolve victory, it looks like. I'm just going to take the auto-resolve victory. We don't really need to fight this manually. It's pretty obvious what's going to happen here. Okay, replenishment or leadership bonus. How many turns do we have left on our... I guess it's not easy for me to see that. We have some number of turns left on our previous leadership bonus. Let's just refresh that. Alright, we showed him who's boss. Oh, that was their guy. That was their boss. The leader of the Red Eye tribe has been defeated. The Greenskins' tribal hierarchy is brutal but simple. Bash in enough heads and take enough loot. Sooner or later, you're gonna get some mobs and become a war boss. Beat up another war boss in battle, his mobs become yours, since loyalty is a concept that neither orcs nor goblins really care for. But be aware that subjugating another war boss and his tribe also means taking over their territory, leading to a larger empire to oversee. Perhaps just keep things simple and bash in his head too. No. We do have the option of just permanently murdering him. But I want his land. And we got his army over here, which I mostly don't actually care for, but he does have a couple of heroes. So hold on, we're going to disband all these terrible goblin units. I don't want any of this garbage. I forgot that was how Greenskin Confederation worked now. And I also didn't realize that they had changed that to be their leader. Listen, it was a solid plan anyway. Let's put one more skill point, right? It's one more? Yeah, 4 points in the previous group. Do we want Looter, Raider? Oh, let's take Raider. Alright, and then what do we want to do with this army? So right now, we're negative on income. We have too much army upkeep going on. Let's definitely... let's pull these guys out of this army. And then also you. And then we're going to disband this army. In addition to the upkeep costs of your individual units, each army has its own upkeep cost. So disbanding this will help a little. We're still negative. But honestly, we might be okay here. We probably don't need 2 giant river troll hags at this moment. Here, you come join this army. Wait, what is your trait? Is your trait better than the trait of the one that I recruited? Winds of Magic up, enemy Winds of Magic down versus the big... I like the big bully thing, actually, I think. You know what? I'm just going to disband this troll. I'm going to... how do we... There's definitely a way to do this. I don't remember what it is, but you can totally just... there we go. Okay, we'll just dismiss you so we don't have to pay you every turn. I think I'm going to do the same thing with Blorg Muckrake. We're just not in a position to be running a whole bunch of extra heroes. We have the heroes that we want. And I'm going to turn him around. He's going to go run back out here and do stuff. And Drumpla Bilespua is going to come join Azheg's army as we had planned. So we can't continue down this line because we have to research all of this stuff first. So let's fall back and start researching some other things. Biggin bullies into less eaten, more building. I guess we're getting to the point where we're going to start recruiting some more elite normal orc troops. So probably we need to start pushing through here. Although, you know what? Maybe it's worth going for that bonus to obedience. We don't want to have to keep turning around to fight rebel armies, right? And we're not actually doing a very good job of keeping our obedience positive. So let's head in that direction. Oh yeah, and we now control all of Peak Pass, so let's go for growth and obedience here. And we probably want to turn taxation back on. Obedience is quite positive. The new province or the new settlements we received already had growth buildings in them, so we have the growth going as well. This seems pretty alright. There's a troll building here. We don't really need this. I think we're going to try to replace that with a... because we already have one of those in Karak Raziak, we're going to replace that with like a money-making building. We could definitely use some more money. And then we have 2 different bosses' tents. Do we want both of these? Each one of them is giving 6... Yeah, we can afford to cut one of these. Let's get rid of the one in the main settlement because it's less developed. And also, spots in the main settlement are a little bit more valuable because that's the only place where we can really develop some of the cooler buildings. Alright, so Azhag, just, I guess, run up here so it's easy for the troll to join you next turn. Okay, things are going pretty well. I think this is a pretty good position to be in here at the end of our 3rd episode. Let's do one more turn real quick. We're just going to like move some pieces forward a bit before we call it for the day. And we're going to try to talk to the vampires one more time. Clan Molder has performed the Scheme of Dooms. They've summoned a special hero unit that can do some horrible, horrible things to an enemy settlement. Probably they're going to do those things to like Kislev. Been given a mission to raid, not the faction Kislev, but the region Kislev. So we'd have to cross the river probably. Honestly, that's unlikely to happen given the amount of distance we have to travel and the very small amount of money that we would make. Ooh, and while the troll is in our army, replenishment rate is dramatically increased. All right, let's get you over here. I don't know exactly what form the next 13 turns are going to take, but we have all of these units. It feels like it would be foolish not to make some kind of use of them, right? So we'll figure something out. Over here in Khazid Urkalaz, let's build... What do we have access to? Raiding stashes. So income from raiding up for all armies. Also sacking and looting and post-battle loot, and then also bonus movement speed for characters that start their turn in this region. So you want to build these like more toward the front a little bit, I think. Here, I think we'll just put up a pile of shiny stuff. And actually, let's do the same thing in Nashrek's Lair. Let's just push that income a little bit. We're going to need it, because we're going to start recruiting units that have higher upkeep costs. So upgrade all those buildings, and then what do we want to start developing in Carrick Cadron? Carrick Cadron is pretty close to potential enemies, so we could build a garrison building. Major settlements have walls naturally, so they have a different line of garrison buildings that just adds more garrison rather than increasing the walls. But in addition to the garrison, it also improves the tower projectiles, the projectiles that the siege towers shoot. So those might be worth building, or we might want to just like... We don't have a shaman's hut yet, and it's probably a good idea to get ourselves a new shaman at some point. It is also worth noting that while we are currently not suffering from any kind of corruption, it is possible that we will be suffering from vampiric corruption at some point, because we are adjacent to vampire lands right here, and there's a sort of an idea of corruption osmosis where it like spills over the border. So building the shaman's hut gives us some extra points of untainted to fight that. I think it's probably a good long-term play. And then honestly, we can probably hold off on the garrison building. Let's build some more troop recruitment stuff. Let's get some kinds of troops we don't have access to yet. We could get Orc Boar Boys going, or we could start building toward the Arachnarok. I think the Arachnarok is a super cool unit. Let's start working on this. I'd like to have at least one of each recruitment building so that in the global recruitment pool we can recruit anything. We'll see how that actually, see if that actually becomes sensible in practice. We're going to need probably a little bit more land before we can really pull that off. Because too many of our recruitment buildings want to be tier 4 or higher, which means we really need another major settlement. Fortunately, I know where we might be able to get one. Alright, Gobby Gobbo's finished. Honestly, I mean, it matters a little bit because there are goblin units in the WoG. I guess that's an interesting point. We don't always get control over which kinds of units we're going to have, so probably for the best that we get buffs to everybody. Should we stop and grab this real quick? No, this only improves the goblin-based ranged units. If this worked on Orc Era Boys, I might consider it, because we do have a few. That's fine, we'll just keep pushing forward like this. And don't think we have any big important building decisions. I mean, obviously we should upgrade things. Alright, what exactly are we going to do with our Lord? I don't know. That seems like kind of a next time sort of problem. I think we are all out of time for today, but thank you all so much for watching. This was a very productive episode. When you come back next time, tomorrow, hopefully we will be anywhere near as destructive. I mean productive. And we'll see you then.